But when you're doing your conversion and you're going to do it yourself, which I think everyone should try, it's the most amazing experience. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, you kind of round your corner up there. I don't want to give too much of a spoiler for the rest of the van, so I'm not really going to move from this spot. In this video, we're going to be going over installing the floor and the installation process that goes into that. There is a lot of pressure when it comes to a camper van conversion. People do think they need to reach certain standards, but when you're doing your conversion and you're going to do it yourself, which I think everyone should try, it's the most amazing experience. Being able to convert your own home and then know that you've converted it. You know every in and out. You know where all the screws are. If there's a problem, you know which wire it is. If there's a leak, you know where that pipe is. You know which connection it might be. If you want to change things in the future, you feel comfortable doing so because you fit it in the first place. I think everyone should give the conversion process a go. When it comes to van life, I do think the conversion process is so special for it. It kind of gives you a really strong connection to your van. I personally wouldn't want it any other way, and I think anyone who wants to give it a go, do it to what you're capable of and not what you've seen online. There might be some really luxurious things that you want in your van, but if you're going to bodge it or do it in a way that you're not too sure, I would say don't do it. Keep it simple if you only know the simple bits. Make it strong and not overly fancy. It's something that you'll be thankful in the long run. You may think, oh, it's not as cool as I want it to look, but if it's strong and the layout's nice for you, you'll be much more thankful for that in the long run. The worst thing is when you start trying to make it look glitz and glam, and then those things just fall off or break in the future, or you try to get some fancy lights in, and they draw too much power because you weren't too sure how much watts they drew. You want to make sure your layout is your most important thing. When it came to this camper van, I probably spent about a week planning the layout, and it's paid off. It's really paid off. There's no wasted space in this van at all, but yet it feels very airy. So this floor process, which is going in today, I would say, again, be really mindful of weight. If you were going to get a normal van, weight is really, really important. This is a 3.5 ton vehicle. We can take a lot of weight in the back here, but even then, I was really careful. The only time I wasn't very mindful of weight was the sapele, which is the timber. I wanted it to feel really solid in the back here, hence you will see really thick pieces of timber. That's the only heavy thing in this van. Everywhere else, I've been really, really careful to try and get away with the minimal thickness as possible. But even like the floor here, it might have been 12, but it could have probably got away with 9 because it's sitting directly onto the insulation, as you'll see. Just make sure your cutting depth is 1 mil, only 1 mil more than the timber you're cutting, just for safety reasons. I will quickly show you what we got done between the last episode and now. I got the tap on, which you obviously can't see, but I'll show you in a second. And I also got the sink in, which is hidden under here. So the overall point will be something very similar eventually. So once we'll have the cooker to where the iPad is, underneath there we'll have the undermounted sink. The point of being undermounted is so you can still have your workspace without it being taken up by the sink, which is a lot of space. You've got to be careful about when you're kind of like building your worktop. It's a small area, it's a camper van. It's not a house, you don't go 600 out. 600 worktops are designated for buildings. This is obviously 450, and obviously it's 450, but it's because we've got our pathway which will be coming down the centre here, there somewhere. So the centre of the van's about there. We'll have a nice pathway because it's only 450. If it was 600, it would be out to about there somewhere, which is way too much for a camper van. It's pretty impractical. And also underneath the bottom here, we've obviously got our water heater, our inverter, and the water pump. We still want to be able to reach the back of that without it being hidden away completely and unreachable. Think about your pathways. Don't lose your pathways. It's your home. So right now, we're going to be taking up the carpet. We're going to rip the carpet up with the batten which we've used for down there. You can just see a little strip here. We're going to be putting batten down here as well, and then we'll infill with insulation. So yeah, rip the carpet up, batten, insulate, and then we're going to use the 12mm ply again, which is the same down here. We can finally start finishing off the frames really, because we've only worked on this one side. I've needed this access area here for working really. So yeah, if you're from England, you know that if there's a hot day, everyone goes a bit mad, but then they also complain. So they enjoy it whilst they complain about it being too hot. And today,
it's too hot.
I feel that way. It's too hot. there are benefits doing this at your parents' place. That actually took ages to clean out the screw heads just to get the screws out. What we'll do now is we will put the battens down and insulate, and then apply. When it comes to your thickness of your bearers, so as you can see here, we have 400 centers. The reason I'm going 400 is because it's a nice width for 12mm, even without anything underneath. 12mm at 400 is fairly sturdy. I've got it so the insulation is the exact same thickness as the insulation, which means that there's no void for the ply to bounce. That is a very tight fit down there. Oh, sorry? So I got the first line in, as you can see there, just there. I was pushing in the back a little bit too much, and then I just saw this bit pop out, and I don't want any loose bits. I'd rather fill it with expanding foam than leave it like that. So yeah, that's the first section in. I've just got to do a little strip down here. That'd be quick. Something to note is that when you're doing this, the timbers are technically a cold spot. Realistically, I'm not going to worry as much as I should, as it's not house grade, but pretty much everything in here is house grade. But yeah, try and make it tight as you possibly can, because even the smallest gap, you'd be amazed how much cold draft that can create. Even the smallest of drafts can just basically make a lot of insulation completely void. Hello, Mum! I'm going to show you my dog. Bella, oi! Let's boo-boo. Sit. Sit, boo-boo. This is the lovely boo-boo. Boo-boo, stay. Sit. Hey. Boo-boo, stay. Stay. Paw. Paw, boo-boo. Ah. Boo-boo. Adorable. As we got the final board in there, and then we'll be able to match the side down here. And then we should be good to start boarding out. Also, pre-plan your battens so you don't have to cut down the ply any more than you have to. Thanks, Mum. Hey, Bella. So what we're going to go for now is the bed frame. So we have a... Editing me here. Why do I look like Wolverine? Why do I look like Wolverine? What? Why do I look like that? Just anyone who's not aware, whilst I was doing these, I was starting about 8 and I was finishing about 6 o'clock in the evening. And then I would have a little bit of food and I would start working on the van at 7 and finish around 12 at night. And I've done this for about 2 months. So you will start to see me get more and more crazy looking as I do this van restoration. So just a heads up, that's why I start to like completely give up with how I come across. The bed frame. So we have a single piece up here and we need to do the same the other side. And then we're going to have basically a timber that runs across the top here to the other post. And then we are also, so it will run across to this line here. And then we're going to have a bit of timber that runs across here to basically carry that weight. And then we're going to go for the steps. And the steps are going to have to basically be our way of getting up to the bed, but also our storage. Essentially our biggest storage on the boat, in the van. We're going to get the bed frame made and then we're going to start trying to make the framing for the steps. Alright, let's get that timber that spans across that, and then we're going to need one that probably steps down as well as a way of strengthening it out. So as you can see, it's kind of sitting on top of those 2x2s, which is fine, but we need it to just be notched down 50mm as well. So I could either turn it on its side, but it loses lots of strength. Instead, I'm going to notch that 50mm round, just so I have a good fix. Instead of just sitting on the top of the 2x2, it'll actually be sitting over and on top. Alright, so you can see we've got the frame in. Yeah, I kind of ended up just notching it round the 2x2, because I wanted it to be stronger than just it sitting on top, so it feels like it's wobbly. Instead, now I can get a nice fixing through the bottom of it, so it stabilises it that way, and obviously now it's strong this way in this plane. It needs to be, because it's carrying this entire into the bed, and if you imagine us sitting on this corner, that corner there, there's going to be so much weight on that. And now we need to build the steps down, so I'm still not too sure what I'm going to do there. Guess I'll just mark it up and see what happens. This is what I've got to deal with every day. Crazy man. Oh well, you're like a cartoon character. Right. Did you see that? That was as hard as I tried. I gave up instantly. There's me dissing my dad. I look mad. Yeah, so I have just marked out for the staircase going up onto the bed. There is a bottom line just along here. Now that is my first step. The first step is 450. My overall distance across the room that goes to the bed frame to the shutter door, which will become a normal door, and I basically have to then work out what kind of average amount of steps. So I've gone for 4 steps. It's going to go to 3, but to the actual top of the mattress is 1600, but the steps won't go to the top of the mattress, they'll probably go just a little bit below it. So at the top of the mattress here, there will be a frame that kind of sits along this face here, just to stop the mattress from moving around, and then there'll probably be something slightly higher that's maybe just like something thin that doesn't make it feel too kind of like shut off at the back there, but strong enough so that you don't fall out of bed. When it comes to planning out your steps, obviously if you're in a normal van you probably won't have this situation, but you'll probably have like a single or double step. But with a Luton, our bed is so high, as you can see it's very high up. The steps will be quite a lot. I've basically been zoomed in the entire time. I didn't realise it was zoomed in, so forgive me. It is a wider field of view what we've been getting up to here. Yesterday, I tried to show you the actual steps. They weren't really working because I basically showed you the 4 steps, but the actual top step here, we don't want that, because we would have to climb up onto the top step to crawl along the top step to get into bed, which doesn't make sense. We want the last step to be this step. I've basically shrunk the overall treads from 375 to 500. So now we have much wider steps. Instead of 4, there's 3, and they are still 400 high. That's the overall outcome. The first step, second step, third step. And then the third step, it's high. I'm gonna have to have like a handrail up top, which in case you do go that way, you can grab onto a handrail before you get to the top. And then also, it'd just be nice anyway. But yeah, I think these work out much better, and I put the boards in between. These boards just kind of away because that basically creates all the rigidity needed for me to try this. But now I'm going to start putting the boards on the front here and the smaller one down there. The smaller step will be a chest opener. Along with this one, it's going to be a chest opener again. Yeah, these two will be very different compared to the bigger one there. The bigger one will be drawer, all the way down, a place for us to store any sort of technology and safe stuff. It's actually a fair drop. Now what we're going to do, we're going to route it out the back here by using a little piece like this. So the best thing about this is that this side goes past the ply, and this perfectly trims it up. A really nice way of getting it absolutely perfect. You can see there that the blade is about 1/3 of a mil less than the actual roller, so it creates really nice cuts. I'll show you. Nice and simple, look. You just stick it on, it'll be past the ply. The roller pin actually will sit on whatever behind it to stop it from going any further into the ply. Very simple, but it works a charm, it does. Also, a really nice effect is the corner. It kind of rounds your corner off, and you can either trim that up or leave it as is. And for this project, I'm going to leave that mould. I'm going to leave that corner with that nice rounded edge. So to do this little trim piece, God, I do look wacky. To do this little trim piece here, if I was to try and get something that exactly fit all these sizes, it'd be pretty tricky. So instead you can just chuck a little bit of like offcut on there and just use that router piece to just go around and trim up. The only thing to be careful about is your corners, because you can't get into the corner. It would have like a weird like lip on it. So try and make sure that your corners are flush, but then you can go back out and go over the top a little bit. Anything apart from a corner. Also be careful of screw heads. if it goes into the screw head, it will dig into your trimming. Perfect corner there. Lovely. Do you want to say it, Fly?
Definitely you.
Welcome back to another Vanlife channel, which you can add.
Sorry, I'm like that.
Welcome back to another Vanlife, where you can add to your binge list. We have done Vanlife around Australia, and now we are doing it from a Mitsubishi to a Citroen Berlingo. In a Citroen bed, basically. A micro camper, if you have one.
We've got no current steps, so this is how I get in. I don't know if I can.
So one of us can sit with their feet this side, you can sit there. Alright Lou, come on, chop chop, get back to work. So we have got a few deliveries. Now I've only just finished work, so you can probably see that the sun is just about setting. But for now, I'll show you the deliveries because I want to open them, but I also want to record it. I'll try and show you. So, alright, okay, so we have, I believe this is the hob. This is from Jackson's Leisure, by the way. I chose Jackson's Leisure as the company I went through because apparently their reviews are so good. Apparently their return policy is pretty good as well. And if there's anything wrong with your product, they will immediately just fix it for you. Jackson's Leisure. I'm not sure if you can see, but we've actually got the fridge tower and the little toilet kind of slider. I will show you. Can't be necessary. So little lookies. That's the hob, yeah, it's the hob. Alright, give me 2 minutes, I'm just going to clear all this out of the way so I can show you the toilet. Alright, with that masterful clean, I have literally just rammed everything that way. We have the toilet. So obviously there's no handle on there, there's a tiny little screw. So that does hurt a little bit, but yeah, so the toilet will be retractable. It will go underneath where the fridge is, obviously. You can see it there. So this just slides away, and if you want to use it, it comes out. I've put 2 runners on here. They take currently the exact loads, but it's more than enough when I'm sitting on there that it doesn't move. It drops by just a little bit, as you can see there, but nothing major. We got the porta potty from again, Jackson Leisure has this, but this was an Amazon job. They're a little bit more expensive. Jackson Leisure is cheaper, but it was the biggest one. It was the 365 that we could get, just simply because, as a guy, you want a bit of room here, and this has it. It fits in there really nicely, and it's literally within like 2 mil of the top. So yeah, that's that. I'm now going to start working on the steps And the bed. The roof light. The only one you can go for is bottom.
We're doing a good job.
Yeah. Try to do bigger strokes though.
I knew you'd correct me. It's not right.